Good day, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're right, because it's time for the 48-hour analysis. Basically, in this video, I'm going to look at all these Valentine skins, make comparisons to previous Rustore skins that we have seen, and try and figure out, well, how much each of these skins are likely to sell by next Thursday, and then knowing that, we'll then question, are these skins still holding up to be a perfectly fine investments, or are there any potential problems that you need to be aware of? So sit back and relax, and I'll start yapping. So, Valentine's and the Training SKS 2.0. Yeah, not going to complain. We were expecting a lot of pink, a lot of love hearts. All right, cool. But in some certain instances, 2 SKSs, a tier 2 armor that's apparently green camouflage. We'll talk about that. 2 garage doors, but one of them is actually selling very, very nicely. The chair. So yeah, I mean, there's quite the variety, but I think we are still looking at pretty obvious potential problems. So yeah, sales might be interesting, but at the end of the day, if we still have these particular problems, things most likely won't work out very nicely. But of course, we'll explain everything. So this is the first 24 hours of sales. Top selling skin, almost 17,000 subscribers. Lowest selling skin, 3,500. Well, that's quite a distance, isn't it? But overall, okay, considering the current momentum we have, I'm not too surprised to see sales are like this. But when we have like the Easter Rustore, look at the sales then. I bet you it drops off. It really wouldn't surprise me. Unless we see something really wacky, we'll see how it goes. But all right, cool. Let's hop out of here. There you go. Here's the first 48 hours of sales, or rather 49. I am a little bit later, but it shouldn't be too much of a difference. In fact, let's go over to here, refresh. Oh, it's Christmas. Whoops. I was just quickly double checking. Anyway, so looking at the current sales, it really does look like we're going to have a couple of skins going over 30,000 subscribers. It looks like a lot of these skins are going to go over 20,000 subscribers, which, you know, that's not too bad. And during my Rust rotation video, I did look back and check to see like previous Valentine's Rustores. Honestly, quite a decent amount of them did work out very nicely. So I'm not too concerned in regards to sales. At the end of the day, next year, there very likely could be collection continuations. That's a bit of a wait, right? Yep. We still have the Easter dip to go through, March and April. And of course, summertime. Great time to see prices rise up with kids out of school and whatnot. But then inevitably, the autumn fall seasonal dip. Do not be surprised if all of these do drop off around then as well. September, October, November. Hedge, isn't it a bit too early to start yapping about autumn fall seasonal dip? No, there's always a good time to talk about autumn fall seasonal dip. It's the worst time. So, yeah, I mean, we still have to wait another half a year for that. But anyway, focusing this, how about we go through all the skins now and start figuring out how much they're likely to sell by next Thursday. Wings of Death SKS. So, almost 17,000 subscribers with the first 24 hours of sales, and then barely 6,000 extra with the next day. So, okay. Chances are you will be slowing down quite a considerable amount. And I really don't think we'll be matching up to what we saw of last week, by the way. Still slightly down in price. Ooh. But looking back over to you, when I was making considerations for what potentially might be the best thing to compare to you, honestly, the best thing was the old Pirate Revolver. But of course, this has sold a fair bit more. And if I can recall from the previous week, this has sold a fair bit more in comparison to the 48 hours when we looked at this last week. At the moment, you're doing good, which is nice to see. It also reached over 33,000 subscribers. With the current momentum this has, I get the feeling it's going to do between 33 to 38,000 subscribers. Now, you might sit there and say, well, you know, it's got a hot pink design, stands out quite nicely. Doesn't have a transparent aim sight though, which is a bit unfortunate. But I personally don't think we'll see anything like this being accepted over the course of the next 365 days until next year's Valentine's. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe someone decides to make a hot pink collection outside of Valentine's. We shall see. But Wings of Death SKS, 33 to 38,000 subscribers. I do feel like that might be a little bit too much. I'm still expecting a lot more SKS skins to be accepted. Lunar New Year next week and the week after that. I am expecting at least two SKSs to be accepted. I kind of would be surprised if we skip 1 week, but so far we've had, technically speaking, the limited edition Training SKS, the Heatseeker SKS. Now we have 2 here, Wings of Death and Training SKS. Next week we potentially see a 5th one. All right, maybe we will have a break either next week or the week after. But after that, regular collections, listen. How likely do you think we'll see like a No Mercy SKS being accepted? Come on now. And then there's various other collections out there that would greatly appreciate getting an SKS out of their collection. Twitch drops, kick drops. It feels like an inevitability that we'll see a lot more of this. And when there's a lot more options, Wings of Death SKS, you very likely suffer because you would have sold a little bit too much. It's the issue with brand new skinnables. As more and more options start to appear, the originals that first come out that sold an insane amount start to suffer because people would much rather use the other ones. Oh dear. So with what I see there, we'll see how it goes. But don't forget, this is abnormal. Next Wednesday, when we look at all the skins, we'll figure out prices. I think I'll be playing it safe with that. $2.49, I don't think you'll be retaining that price. Ooh. So we'll see how it goes. Atomic Ever After Garage Door. 2 garage doors this Rust store, but this one's doing a lot better. More than 10,000 subscribers compared to Cupid's. What could we compare as we hop back over to here? Well, I thought, you know what? I could look at the previous week with Naval Camo. I think we could also go quite a bit further back and compare to the Lost Soul garage door. So this had just over 13,000. This right here had just under 13,000. And this has 14,000, but I think we could still do a nice comparison. So, all right then, let's go hop to it. So, previous week, pretty please. Oh, my, actually went to 2024. Oopsie. Right. Previous week, please. Yep. Naval Camo did just over 26,000 subscribers. But again, it had more momentum. Slightly. And then over to here, we have the garage door to take a look at. Just over 31,000 subscribers. What? Yep. So, that garage door, it had quite a lot of momentum after we did abnormals. People thought, yeah, that's going to probably work out quite all right in the future. So a lot more people jumped on it at the very last second. Atomic Ever After Garage Door. It's hard to say, sorry. I'm not sure if there's going to be tons of people jumping onto you after abnormals, but I feel like a perfectly fine suggestion would be 25 to 30,000 subscribers. I feel like that's okay. So with the current momentum, that definitely looks like it'll be happening. I ask you now, do you like the design? Are you a fan of it? It is a bit odd. It is a bit silly. And yet again, people stand up saying, that looks like AI. No. Horror Meow 48, they did a fantastic job. It's actual art. And I do believe if I had Imager working, it'll be showcasing their process in building it all up. So, right. We'll see how it goes, but we are expecting a lot more garage doors this year. It might look very nice right now, but there will be more very nice looking garage doors appearing like next week, Lunar New Year. I can't tell you how many horse-themed and awesome designs I've seen for garage doors. There's a ridiculous amount. So do not be surprised if we potentially see at least another 3 garage doors over the course of the next 2 weeks. You've been warned. So all right then, we'll see how it goes. Next, the next 4 skins, as you can see right here, Love Letter Satchel Charge, Soulmate L96, Cup Chair, and of course the Training SKS 2.0. All of these had a very similar amount of sales, and they still kind of do right now. So 10,600 all the way down to 9,800. What we're going to compare to, I think we could compare to Neon Loot Room, Garage Door, and No Mercy Tactical Gloves. So 9,500, 10,000. That's a bit high, but you never know. You might see quite a lot of people jumping in at the very last second. So, all right, and let's go ahead and get a good look at them. So let's hop back to the past. How far? Yeah, there we go. 23,000 and almost 26,000. Hop it back over to here. As we can see, this only has 14. This only has 14 and a half. This has 15, and this is 16. I don't think we're going to go as high. Realistically speaking, I feel like all 4 of these skins right here are more likely to, they're more likely to do between 21 to 25,000 subscribers. Now, the Satchel Charge, I would be very, very worried about that, considering the recent ones that came out sold a fair bit less, and they did not very nice. I would not be surprised in the slightest if this goes down at least half its price. Soulmate L96, to be honest with you, same thing. You might be priced at $2, but look at all the recent L96s we've had. Quite a lot of these are down below $1. I'm sorry to say, but the L96 just doesn't seem to get skins that are appreciated, and so they'll very likely be a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. Now, with this particular chair, it's very interesting because we just don't get that many chairs, do we? We just simply do not get that many chair skins being accepted. Let me just go to here, because when you look at the history of acceptances on Rust Help, it's a bit all over the place. This is correct, though. So, yes, we saw some DLC chairs. Quite some time back, we saw the frog chair. But, yeah, with a scarcity of acceptances, maybe this particular chair will be appreciated. But then again, with its design, I know for a fact that a lot of people are absolutely loving it. In fact, I put out a lovely little video today Let me just go back over to here. Have you seen my lovely little video? I'm sure you've enjoyed it. I'm sure you've appreciated it. Consider watching that if you haven't seen it yet. Happy Valentine's, Rust Skin Enjoyers! So anyway, harper back over to here. Oops, sorry, there you go. I think the chair actually might be working out pretty sweet. I wouldn't be surprised if that potentially gets quite a lot of acceptances at a later time. Purchases. Sorry. But this isn't abnormal, is it? No, it's not abnormal. Ooh, that might be a bit of a problem. But considering the fact that it glows in the dark in a very particular spot, considering what it is, I kind of wouldn't be surprised if people will be appreciating it as time goes on. And again, I don't think we'll be seeing another marketable chair for quite some time as well. I hardly ever see chairs being made, and well, I hardly ever see them being accepted. So is it going to be another 2 years without another, marketable chair? I won't be surprised. So keep an eye on that. That might be appreciated, and I don't think we'll be seeing another pink chair ever again. Time will tell. And then we had the Training SKS, the 2.0. Of course, you might be fully well aware we had the weird situation in regards to the limited edition. Can confirm I've recorded, edited, and prepared a video discussing what will happen with that, and of course I do comparisons. Basically, this looks exactly the same as that. So, okay then. But why is the other one so expensive? Because there's only 2 of them that exist. Oh, okay, fair enough. Right, so Training SKS, again, much like what we talked about with the Wings of Death SKS, there will be more skins being made. There will be other collections jumping in, trying to get their skins accepted. It feels like an inevitability. So right now, you're probably more likely going to do around 21,000 subscribers, but I can't help but assume that's still going to be quite a lot. In the grand scheme of things, I worry about that. So if I could also just remind you about beds. The perfect example of new skinnables issue. When the first few skins appeared for here, they sold a lot. And initially, they looked like they had tons of interest. But as time went on, when more and more options appeared, suddenly people didn't care too much about them. And then they started getting dumped on the Steam market, and now they are suffering. Down 56, down 69, down 35, down 46, down 46. Yeah. I'm sorry to say, but I worry about you. You might be part of a well-established collection, but let me just also double-check. Are you the highest subscriber now, almost? Getting there. And if you were to do between 21 to 25,000 subscribers, you'll be the second highest. Look at all these other weapons it's had. They're not exactly doing fantastic, are they? So things aren't really lining up very nicely for this, is it? No. So yeah, we'll see. All right. So next up, we have another batch of 4, I believe. We have the Sheep Door, the Jackhammer, and the Burlap clothing, and the tactical gloves. Yes, and the tactical gloves. So let's go hop back over to here. So we have the Sheep Door just over 9,000, all the way down to the Lovestruck tactical gloves with 8,600, a 500 gap. Okay, what are we going to compare to? I think we could compare to the Deep Breathy Furnace, and I think we could also compare to the Deep Sea Jacket from the previous week. So, okay, let's go ahead and do just that. So, Deep Sea Jacket, let's get a good look at you. And, yeah, you did just almost 17,000 subscribers. And what about that Furnace? How far back do we have to go? Is it here? There we go. 23,000. Really? Wow. Okay, that's a lot. I don't think we're going to see these reach 23,000 subscribers. But I think the more realistic potential is that it's going to do between 17 to 20,000 subscribers. The Lovestruck gloves more likely to do 17. The Sheep Door more likely to do 20. Okay. Well, with the amount of Sheep Doors expected this year, I won't be surprised if this suffers and drops off. Sorry to say, but look what happened with the previous week's Sheep Door. That looked cool. That looked nice. 17,000 subscribers. Lost a third of its value already. Much like with Sheep Doors last year, just take a look and see. Hardly any of them were working out quite all right. Yeah, I'm sorry to say, but I don't have the strongest of faith. But as time goes on, will be appreciated with its lovely neon hearts design, the glow-in-the-dark design and whatnot. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised. But realistically speaking, I do expect it to drop off over the course of the next 7 days. So, okay, sorry to say. No, next 7 days after it's left the rust door. This lovely, wonderfully named Jackhammer, well, you're not abnormal, which is a bit of a concern. The fact that we've already got 2 Jackhammers this year is also a bit of a concern. This has dropped off slightly, it's only down by 10%. But maybe the name will always help it be appreciated. But is that enough to carry it? I'm having doubts. Now, some of you might be fully well aware this does glow in the dark, but only in a very specific sort of like position. When you hold it, you can see the glow. When someone's standing quite a bit of a distance away from you, like from the side, they can't really see it very well. So if you're concerned about the glow, I've got to be very honest with you. I don't think it's going to be that much of a problem. Do you even need a glow-in-the-dark like pinpoint with a jackhammer though? And at the end of the day, also, if you're concerned about people being able to see you, they're going to hear you as well. When you're drilling, people are going to hear you. So maybe there's no concern. Right, very well then. But at the end of the day, I probably wouldn't be surprised if we see another jackhammer this year. So we'll see how it goes. Jackhammers do tend to be quite reliable. Again, let's just look at last year's jackhammers. Oh, I was honestly expecting you were doing better. You did all right, but I guess the twitch drops and the kick drops didn't exactly help us out. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe a smart boulder, maybe a smart boulder. Suitor burlap shirt and pants. Purely based on the fact that I just do not expect to see that much more burlap clothing being accepted this year. And the fact that this stands out completely unique compared to all the other burlap clothing. I get the feeling that actually might work out quite all right. I get the feeling that this actually could be a pretty nice looking investment. 17 to 20,000 subscribers though, that could lead to quite a lot of listings. However, again, due to scarcity of acceptances, due to the lack of burlap clothing even being made every week, I kind of get the feeling that will be appreciated. And I'm very curious to sit here and say that I might actually buy some. I actually might sit here and go ahead and buy some. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, is everything just A-okay then? Well, not really, but I do think that'll be holding up quite all right. I think that might be doing pretty sweet. So, okay. Next year as well, could we see more burlap clothing being made? Could we see a bandana? Could we see a boonie hat? I mean, it would be greatly appreciated. So there's a lot of potential with it. But to truly appreciate it, we might have to wait until next year's Valentine's. So we'll see how it goes. What I see there, it does look nice. Love Struck Tactical Gloves. The fact that you're all the way down over to here, in theory, would have been lovely, but how are you going to fare in comparison to the rest of your collection? Why did it do that twice? I have no idea. Right. So we kind of hoped that we could have had a situation like the road sign gloves and the Love Struck boots that happened 2 years ago. That's not going to happen. After the first 24 hours of sales, we already sold more than those two pieces. So what's the more realistic expectation? Well, the tactical gloves do look like they're going to line up perfectly with the tier 2. They do look like they're going to line up perfectly with the hoodie and pants, and they will still sell quite a lot less compared to the tier 3. So the expectation is that the Love Struck tactical gloves will just work out A-okay. Will they go up in price that much for a while? Probably not. They'll just probably retain value. But as time goes on, I do believe they'll slowly pick themselves up and gradually increase in value, because that is a collection that is being appreciated. So, okay. Next year, could we see a jacket or something else being added? Maybe another attempt for the backpack? We shall see. But the fact that this is an in-demand collection, and this is looking like it's going to slot perfectly in between all of these skins, it should be fine. But I don't expect it to be like the Love Struck roadside gloves and the boots from previous, because they sold considerably less. This has not. This is perfectly fine with the sales at the moment. So, all right. Not too bad. Fawned Love Tier 2 armor. So I've had some people sitting here and saying, Hedge, it looks like it's green armor. Is this camouflage? I've already tested it out. So if you haven't seen it for yourself, consider hopping over to here, look at my rust rotation video. I have a chapter specifically saying, is it good green camouflage? So let's go ahead and find that real quickly. So let's just scroll down. I hope you like the thumbnail, by the way. Scroll down and you'll see right here, Fawned Love Tier 2 green camouflage. I test it out in the fields. I test it out in the forest. I test it out in the jungle. And honestly, it looks like it's only really good with the jungle. You can, debate that if you want to. But if we were to go ahead and do a comparison, what could we compare to? I think the best thing we could probably compare to is the furnace from the previous week. There you go. Very similar sales. So, okay then, let's go. Wait, no, I think I got that wrong. No. Boat Door. Boat Door and the Hellcore MP5. Where are you? You're over there. Yeah, 8,000 subscribers each. Let's go ahead and do a comparison. So, let's just close you. I said let's just close you. There we go. Right, so let's go to the previous week. We have the wood door. That did almost 15,000 subscribers. Evidently, transparent wooden doors, they are actually appreciated. Took me a while to figure that out. And then over to here. Let's get a good look. Where is that MP5? There you go. 21,000 subscribers, really now. Ooh. So I think the more realistic approach is that this is more likely going to do between like 15 to 17,000 subscribers, much like what we saw with the wooden door. A lot of people are starting to take a liking to it, but being very honest with you, I don't see the appeal. I don't think it's actually good green camouflage. Maybe there might be ways to mask all the red roses that are all over it, but I don't think that's going to happen. Although, with all due respect, if we see Forward Love hoodie and pants and tier 3 armor next year, okay, that will very likely spike in price. So I'll respect it in that regard. But yeah, 15 to 17,000 subscribers. Will you actually work out quite alright this year? I'm having doubts. Sorry to say. Right then, so next up I do believe we'll be talking about the Cupid garage door. And that was supposed to be compared with the furnace. Sorry about that, I got a little bit mixed up. So yeah, both of them had around 6,000 subscribers, which we can confirm right now. Yep, there we go, 6,300. And this over to here, 6,266, so very, very close. Now, looking at this, it obviously reached up to about 13,000 subscribers almost. And then looking back over to here, looking at the garage door, 9,000 subscribers. Yeah, I think Cupid G Door, garage door, is going to do between 11 to 13,000 subscribers. Now, I'm surprised this was the one that didn't work out very well. I mean, it got accepted, so props to Stabby. But I guess people just don't like the fact that they want to have like a little Cupid Alistair on their garage door. All right, fair enough. Stabby, I think you creep them out. I feel like that's probably the most appropriate answer. Anyway, garage doors this year. There's very likely going to be a lot more of them. But maybe with a sheer lack of sales, you could work out as time goes on. We'll see. You do realise there's like 3 different Alistair garage doors. Last year's Halloween one, and then we had the biscuits one from early last year as well, back in March time. Yeah, there's like a weird collection being built up. Not made by the same skin creators, if I can recall. But yeah, something's going on there. What is going to happen for Easter? I'm very worried. You could do like a chick or something. Let's not question that. Let's just move on. Anyway, so yeah, okay. 11 to 13,000 subscribers. Perhaps you might go up a little bit higher than that. And we'll see how it goes. But this has really kind of slowed down. That I've definitely noticed. So yeah, maybe there's just not that much interest. And with the amount of garage doors we're expecting this year, maybe it might get lost in the shuffle. We shall see. So, all right, cool. Now we have the double barrel shotgun and the bed. So right now, 9,000 almost. No, 8,000, sorry. And this also has almost 8,000. So hopping back over to here. What are we going to compare to? Because both of these had about 5,300, 5,400. I think the best thing we could compare to is the Ultramarine bed. Which, yeah, okay, I do remember this had a lot of sales at the very last second. And then we also happen to have the Dragonhorn bag. There we go, 5,175. So let's go ahead and do a comparison. Oop. How far back do I have to go? I actually don't remember. There you go. 12,900. Again, even I was one of the people that jumped onto that because I thought it sold far too little compared to its collection. So maybe we'll just look at this. 12,500. I don't think we have this much momentum. But it's pretty obvious that this is fairly close to what this is doing. Just maybe like 1,000 less. So for both of these pieces, 10 to 12,000 subscribers. I think that's fine. All right, cool. Fair enough. Double barrel shotgun. With all due respect, and consider watching my rust rotation video to get a good look at it, this is a pretty cool, nice looking design. But you won't see any collection continuations for a while. Yeah, and double barrel shotguns by default, they're just not appreciated, unfortunately, as you'll see. Considering everybody's just got one of these grifter grub double barrel shotguns for absolutely free, maybe they don't care enough about that. Yeah, I'm sorry to say I'm not feeling very confident, but it still might be like a $1 Baldra or something. That might still work out all right, fair enough. But it's not abnormal. Can't win, can we? No. Not even Death Bed. A pretty cute, silly design. I'm not sure if this is going to be fine. Again, we just looked at bed skins earlier, just to point out the issues with brand new skinnables. We just keep seeing bed after bed after bed after bed. We've got Easter coming up. I won't be surprised if we see more beds for that as well. The first ever Easter beds. So, whilst you do look nice, whilst you glow in the dark quite usefully as well, I don't think it's going to retain. I don't think it's going to be A-okay. Sorry to say. We'll see if we get like a sequel next year and whatnot. It's just, it is a bit freaky as well. With only 10 to 12,000 subscribers, maybe it won't be so bad. But yeah, the amount of bed skins we're seeing is becoming a bit of a problem. It's too many of them. So right then, both of them a bit questionable. But at the end of the day, listen. If you happen to like any of these skins, if you just generally look at them and think, wow, that looks nice, I kind of want it. Buy it, use it, enjoy it. Support the skin creator. Keep them nice and motivated to keep putting nice creative designs in the future. Treat yourself. Don't question things if you just want to buy it. But if you're going to make an investment, all right, fair enough. We'll approach this a little bit more cautiously. Loves me not spinning wheel. So, yeah, you sold like next to nothing. Let's just quickly go over to here. People don't seem to care about spinning wheels, although with all due respect, the idea of that was pretty clever. Right, so what we're comparing to, I'm going to compare to Flesh Flare Combat Knife. Right, so let's just go back quite a bit. There you go, just under 10,000 subscribers. Realistically speaking, though, I don't think that's going to be reaching 10,000. I feel like the more likely outcome is that is going to do between 7,000 to 9,000 subscribers. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, people don't care about spinning wheels. I mean, it's cool. It's cute. Could we see a sequel? Could it actually work as a sequel? I don't know if this could get more. A fun little prop, though. With all due respect, that's pretty funny. That's pretty silly. It's just, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it drops down in price. In fact, let's just quickly look at the previous week's one. Are you currently holding up your price? Nope, you've already lost about half. Wow. Down 46. So I think that perfectly showcases the likely outcome. Sorry to say. Right, that was a lot of skins. We did that pretty quickly, didn't we? Well, let's try and wrap this up with some nice words. Player count today, not too bad whatsoever. Lots of people turning up. Lots of people still appreciating the boats. Are you still enjoying the boats? Are you enjoying the naval update? Feel free to comment below. But yep, the average player count is slowly picking itself up, which is nice to see. Anything else to discuss? Well, of course, we are fully well aware. We have the Lunar New Year rush doors next week and the week after that. Twitch drops are still available, but chances are you very likely have already picked up all of these. 260,000 people have picked up the double barrel shotgun. As you'll see, 174,000 for that backpack, 190,000 for this. Wow, there's a lot of pickups. Over 200,000 for the Thompson. Yeah, looking pretty sweet. So yeah, lots of people are appreciating the free skins. Hope you did too. In regards to the commits, lots of Hackweek ideas being worked on. Capture the flag apparently. Logistics. That's logistics. Just remember the FedEx advert. Yeah, sorry. Construction bots. Maybe that might be for like a special event, such as like a Twitch drops event and whatnot. We'll see. But construction bots. Blueprint skins for half wall. What? I guess that might be more of a literal a mechanical thing. But anyway, Hackweek table. There's a okay. They're working on the Uzi again, the 9mm Uzi, and then we also have trailers being worked on as well. So okay, some interesting things being worked on, but it doesn't mean it's definitely going to be added. It's just the devs, the people that are working there, after they've just put out a massive update, that was the naval update, they can now work on something silly for a while. And, you know, if everybody else is impressed, they'll actually probably consider actually implementing it into the game. Chicken coops were a Hackweek idea. Then we've got chickens. Farm animals was a Hackweek idea. And soon we're getting sheep and cows. But that's later this year. So, right, cool. Keep an eye out. You never know. It might be added later in the year. Right then. Anything else to address? Well, let's just quickly refresh, see if more sales have happened. What about the workshop? Have we seen any new things being added? Well, to be honest with you, we shouldn't be expecting anything new being submitted this week. It's next week we will return to regular skin submissions. So what on earth is Hedge going to talk about in regards to the next Rust Workshop skin checks? It'll be Lunar New Year bingo. So if you want to get a quick little insight in regards to like the Lunar New Year skins, consider watching the Lunar New Year Rust Workshop skin checks. It's just over to here. All the collection continuations and the top 3 performing skins, because we didn't really have that much to showcase. So consider giving that a good watch. And one extra thing to also bring up. Ta-da! Thank you to everyone if you contributed to this charity event. I'm about to jump back in because there's a concert that's about to start. But yep, Cupid Starlight Festival, it has achieved its $5,000 goal. Thank you so much for all your generosity. Much appreciated. And thank you very much for watching the video. And if you still haven't yet watched it, do consider watching that video right there. That was for you. Happy Valentine's, Ruskin enjoyers. I hope you enjoy your day. Catch you later. See you. Goodbye.